Raising capital isn't a win. It's who you raise from that can change everything. Too many founders accept checks from the wrong investors and end up stuck without the supports that they really need. In today's episode, I'm joined by Maria DeSantis from Muse Capital, a fund known for backing women's health innovations and getting them real traction. You'll learn how to reach strategic capital that actually move your company forward, and how to spot red flags before signing that term sheet. Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Rombach, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability.
Health tech founder. If you're tirelessly scaling your innovative solutions, constantly pitching your vision, and still waiting for that breakthrough moment to truly be seen, this message is specifically for you. The prestigious Health Tech Impact Awards are now officially open for applications. And let's be clear, yes, this is a highly competitive program designed to identify the best and brightest. It's completely free to apply, removing any financial barrier to entry. However, please understand, this is an exclusive opportunity, and not everyone gets in. We're looking for true innovators. This is your unparalleled chance to earn significant national recognition, elevate your brand, and refine your crucial pitch with personalized expert coaching. Gain direct access to top investors, influential health system leaders, and key founders, the very people who can open doors that will fundamentally change everything for your company. You didn't build your company to play small, so stop hoping to be discovered. Apply to be undeniable. Make your mark on the future of healthcare. Applications close sharply on March 1st. Don't miss this critical deadline. Go now to healthtecimpactawards.com. That's healthtecimpactawards.com. It's your moment to shine. Make it matter. Apply today and transform your health tech vision into a national success story.
Welcome back. Today we have amazing Maria DeSantis from Muse Capital, and we're here really talking about how do we support women founders. We know on average less than 3% VC capital are for women-owned companies. And as you guys are in the field and really looking into the innovative space, the potential that for us to actually do something great, amazing, and yet perhaps cut into the noises and find out the right company that you guys really truly wanted to go behind. What would be some of the factors usually you pay attention to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful for being here. Thank you for having me, Sabrina. So when we're looking at startups, and this is, regardless whether it's a male founder or a female founder, right? There are some key things that we're looking at, and these are some of the things that I would encourage, female founders to, and all founders to encourage in their pitch when they're talking to investors. I think depending on what stage you are, but especially if you're early stage, the team is such a key component, right? I mean, when we're investors at the earliest stages, so we invest in pre-seed and seed stage company in the consumer tech space. And what we're looking for is really teams that have the deep technical and, expertise and the operational experience to execute on their vision. And so team is key. Second of all, and I cannot emphasize this more, is the market opportunity. As venture capital investors, we have to return the fund, and this is the riskiest asset class for a reason. We have to deliver big returns, right? And so that comes with a big market potential. And so when talking to investors, really emphasizing market size, the size of the pain point, the potential impact on the economy, I think these are all key components that a founder should be emphasizing.
Exactly. What I'm hearing, two big things is, do you have the right team, the right people? We understand no matter how perfect you've crafted your business model,
the wrong people would never actually carry things out. And even they can be very intelligent, very cohesive. Are you supporting each other? Because I think that when you go into business together, it's tougher than a marriage. You're seeing each other. You're spending even more time with each other than your spouse, your significant other. So how do you work that dynamic of that relationship to truly not just have a skill set, but also the back end of performance? And that actually leads to your other point of operational infrastructure, right? How are you think about the type of people you bring on board and then creating a system that's seamless and not just constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall and figure out what works. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that operational expertise is so key and really differentiates, the teams that are successful and teams that are not. Of course, the innovation, the idea, everything is important, but we cannot overlook the execution part of it.
Exactly. And then when people are unable to deliver it, whether it's the products is not good, then when its product is good, then it's how you're engaging with the clientele for them to truly understand your value, right? And that takes human efforts of messaging and delivering attraction, right? All the go-to-market strategies. And then even you have a group of ecosystem, how do you truly keep them satisfied so then they actually want to stay with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's also important. So for you guys, is there any specific measurement that you're looking into to say, hey, I think that's how we believe these companies will be a good potentials?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think as much as looking at team and market size, very, very important. But then there's, when we go a little bit deeper, something that, we look at a lot as a consumer tech fund is looking at their go-to-market strategy, and particularly how are they going to acquire customers? We know that customer acquisition cost is, a reason why startups fail. It just becomes too expensive to acquire customers and the revenue doesn't make up for that cost. And so I think something really important that founders need to think through is their customer acquisition strategy, right? And how can they boost organic sales? How can they create some sort of virality aspect to their product or solution? And for us, we're mostly, consumer tech businesses. So oftentimes it is direct to consumer businesses, but a lot of times these direct to consumer businesses also have other sources of revenue. So they partner with, for example, a lot of our women's health companies have a direct to consumer offering, but they also partner with insurance companies, health groups, hospital systems, etc., to have that sustainable, defensible B2B pipeline of customers. So I would recommend really having a diversified revenue strategy.
Before we move on, let's take a moment to reflect. In this earlier part, Maria and I unpacked one of the biggest truths founders often overlook. Your team matters more than you. Because if the wrong people is in the wrong seat, or even the right people is in the wrong seat, we know things do not move forward. Everything stalls. Investors want to know, can your team actually execute, not just individually, but as a high-functioning unit? We also touched on how critical it is to quantify your market opportunity and own your go-to-market plan, especially how you will acquire customers without burning through your budget. If you're only focusing on production or improving your product services, you're missing the full picture. Let's dive into what that is next. Now, before we jump into the second half of today's conversation, let me share with you a free opportunity that can really help your pitch to truly convey your unique ability. Because your pitch isn't just a story, it's a strategy. And if you're still guessing on what investors or decision makers want to hear, you are already behind. And that's why we built the Pitch to Yes workshop. We don't just critique your pitch, we co-create it with you. You'll walk away with a persuasion scorecard and a rewritten pitch that turns attention into action. Apply now at pitchtoyes.com. Now let's get back to the rest of our conversation.
Right. And then when we think about diversify, when they're too early stage and they cannot diversify, they have to really think through the strategy on that one channel. And then once that's grown consistently, giving them the right leads and conversion, then they start thinking about the next thing. So then we can create sustainable. So your one channel or marketing strategy or sales is not all the thing you rely on because the market changes. So you have to have backup to have that diversity. But when people are thinking about diversity and they're not in the right stage to diversify, that's when we come into the problem of you're doing too much things, you can't focus, and you don't even have a clear buyer persona to even work toward, and it becomes very costly.
No, and that's such a great point out. So thank you for that, Sabrina. I think it's really important to stay focused at the early stages. Absolutely focus on that main channel that gives you the, that it's the lowest to acquire customer. It gives you the highest LTV. And once you have really honed in and mastered that, then okay, let's expand, let's diversify our revenue sources, our go-to-market strategy, etc., and acquire more customers. But focus, absolutely so important in the early stages.
Right. So that means when you're thinking about how to use these investment dollars, there is a percentage you should put into marketing acquisition and activity like that. But how much you put in and knowing where to put the money in instead of, oh, I have money, let's just revamp our website and build our entire new messaging. No, we're not saying that. We're saying be strategic, right?
Absolutely.
Now,
and I would add, be strategic with the capital that you raise, right? If you can raise from strategic, then that dollar goes even further because those partners can help you along the way.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, we all wanted to, no matter who, whether it's a investor coming in or people who are on your board or on your team that taking equity or even people getting paid, we all care about the result people are delivering. And it's strategic for all of us to think about what decision you're making, what that result, what's the timeline. What could be some of the challenges you're seeing in the market right now when it comes to fundraising or it comes to leveraging the right asset to make the right decision on where to even to spend those money?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And wait, repeat the question.
Yeah, the challenges with fundraising.
Okay.
And then the second part is even people did get fundraising. What are the challenges on knowing what to do?
Got it. Okay. So challenges with fundraising, I think, the VC fundraising landscape have shifted quite a bit over the last few years. 2021 was, of course, a really hot market where it was really easy to fundraise. And so this has left us now in 2024 with a harder, environment to raise where investors are really looking for traction, data, and they're not okay just, investing in a pre-revenue product with not a lot of data points around product market fit. And so if you can bootstrap yourself up to that point where you have data points around product market fit, data validation, then that's a good point to start engaging with VCs and getting those dollars in. And once you do have those dollars in, I think having a team around you of advisors and people who have done it before that can advise you on how the best scaling strategies are, that's really key. And so I think another thing that I want to emphasize is be mindful and be strategic of who you raise capital from, because those funds that are strategic can really help you through the journey of fundraising. We back, second-time founders, but also first-time founders. And we have, lessons from our investments and we try to impart them to our first-time founders, right? And so we're helping them and we're helping them through the journey. And so I think once you've raised VC funding, really important to have a trusted group of people that you can go to for operational questions, strategic questions, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. And that also brings us back to the piece that we mentioned about human behind you, right? And these trusted, it's not just, co-founders in the beginning, they're bootstrapping, they're just getting things going, or the people who believe that they have so many advisors on board, right? They will say, well, we have this company, that company, we have this MD, this PhD. Well, it's not so much technical, but then how have you had consultants, advisors that know how to grow business, scale your business, not just say we have the best product. We're now beyond just having a good product. You need to be recognizable. Here's what I want you to take away from this part. If you're still early stage, don't rush to diversify. Focus on optimizing that one channel
that's actually working. Maria reminds us that scattered efforts burn capital fast and confuse your buyers. We also explore how to use your investment dollars strategically, not to redesign everything, but to double down on what drives growth. And if you're raising money, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who know how to scale, not just advise. Here's more of that ahead. Let's keep on going. And now I want to hear from you. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a comment, or make a post on LinkedIn and tag me, Sabrina Runback, like running backwards, except with the E. What is the one revenue channel you know you haven't fully mastered, but are attempt to explore beyond anyway? What's holding you back from going out into that one channel?
You need to make sure that operational efficiency, the system that you created, is actually working. And you continue to evaluate and then be able to adapt into the changes in the market. What you say when people are still looking for capital, what's the best strategy usually to approach? What are some of the worst approaches that you had?
Okay. So in terms of, reaching out to investors, I think always the best strategy is to have a warm introduction to the investor, because, we get overwhelmed with cold outreach, right? And it's really hard to sort through all those outbound messages. And so if we can have someone vouch for you, then we already, have a validation point towards what you're building. And so, if a friend of mine who works at another VC fund that I trust and I collaborate with sending me a deal, I'm going to pay closer attention to that. And so really finding that warm introduction to the VC is very important. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we see that, I think even for us, right, as a consultancy, we get so many emails in the inbox to say, oh, we can do this, we can do that. And then we have to build a relationship first, and instead of just pure pitching. And that also matters on what the value proposition is. And even when you have a warm introduction, we need to also properly educate the people who champion us so they can represent you in the best light when they make that introduction. And therefore, it doesn't sound like, oh, I already know 3 solutions are similar. How come I would want to invest in this one versus the other ones that already came across my table?
Yeah, absolutely. And, as you emphasize, this is it's a very relationship-based industry. And, we like to invest in founders that we have known and tracked. And so, there's investments of companies that have approached us and we're just too early for us, right? But we kept a relationship with them. We kept building with them. And surely enough, a year later, we were, or a year or a few months later, once, they had more data points, etc., we then invested in the company. And so I think building that relationship, and whether that is coming from a warm introduction or meeting at a conference, at an event, just being out there and meeting the investors in real life, FaceTime, that's so invaluable in today's, digital world.
Exactly. And we can always make the connections on LinkedIn and having conversation. Now it's also important to actually bring face to face to have that real personal touch. And sometimes it's be creative when you do reach out digitally to add on to the personal touch. Actually, LinkedIn can send voice messages, and most people never know that can be done. And you can actually record it on your app, but you couldn't do it on the computer. So because I'm a talker, I'm like, I cannot write as fast as I can talk. So mostly when I'm responding to people, I'm sending a voice recording, or I film a really quick less than a minute conversation, initiation, the purpose of why you wanted to have a meeting, then it's much easier. And in a conference, I would say, right, sometimes it feels overwhelming, yet exciting. So as we are in the Femtech Consumer Innovation Summit and taking this amazing interview, what truly you believe coming into these conferences mean to you?
Well, for me, it's really, about investing in women's health and bettering women's lives. We've been investing in women's health over the last 7 years at News Capital. And for us, it's about, the clear large economic opportunity here, but it's also about, improving women's lives. Women's health has been underfunded, understudied for way too long. Women are suffering in silence, and it's really time to change that. And so honestly, it's been a wonderful morning. I've met incredible founders this morning, building in the fertility space, building in menopause, building in menstrual care. Really so much incredible innovation that's going to be coming our way in the next years. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it's exciting to see the potentials in the space and for us to champion the win and then be part of that journey. And sometimes, as you're saying, it could be too early to talk to us, but for us to be in the ecosystem and then grow that relationship and to the point that is right, that is meant for everything to come together. And definitely that's the exciting part for everything that we're doing for these Femtech women's health founders. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Thanks for having me, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Our conversation today from a ventures perspective dived into something that are often overlooked by startup founders, which is how you connect with investors matter just as much as what you pitch. Warm introductions still outperform cold outreach, but it's not just about getting the right intro. It's about making sure your champions know how to speak to your value clearly so they can make the right introduction and making sure you know what the investors want to align with what your solution can provide. And most importantly, Maria reminded us that investing in women's health is no longer a niche. It's a movement we all have responsibility to support. Here are the key learning lessons from today. Number 1, team alignment over tech alone. Investors prioritizing people over just product, even with the incredible business model. It's the right team dynamics, those who can execute and support each other, that determines long-term success. Number 2, market size matters. As Maria puts it, VCs have to return a fund. That means founders must emphasize not just the innovation, but the size of the pain point they're selling and how big the market really is that are willing to buy. Number 3, single channel mastery first, diversity later. Founders often think diversify revenue streams is a must, but early on, focus matters more. Now, one growth channel before expanding. Without clarity, you're wasting time and budget. Number 4, capital isn't the solution. Strategic capital is. Money alone doesn't grow a company. Use capital wisely and align with strategic investors who can offer genuine partnership and hands-on help scales the right way. Number 5, warm introductions still reign supreme. No matter how brilliant your pitch is, a warm intro trumps a cold outreach. Building genuine relationship and educate your champions so they can represent your value authentically to make those introductions for you. That means start talking to the people who truly can be your venture scale. Number 6, women's health is more than a niche. It is a movement. Women's health has been historically underfunded and understudied, but founders innovating in this space now have a massive opportunity and responsibility to reshape what care looks like for future generations. And that's why 1 out of the 6 impact award category we have is women's health. So if you have something that you really are creating impact in the space, go to healthtechimpactaward.com to nominate yourself. Now, if you had a chance to relocate 20% of your current spend toward a single growth channel or team investment, what would you choose and why? We want to hear from you. So post on LinkedIn, send me a private message. We move to get the conversation started to Let's Building What Lasts. Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.